AA Bullets YouTube channel.
Hurry up, now tell us why you're here.
Tony Gasworth will start at pole position with Cal Weathers to his outside. Row 2 has Greg People and three-time Piston Cup champion Lightning McQueen. Row 3 has Casey Corner and Jeff Burton, hoping to break his winless streak. Row 4 has Kyle Bushtire and Clint Bokar to his outside. Row 5 has Dale Earnhardt Jr. and the Rocket Ryan Newcar to his outside. Row 6 has Kurt Bushtire and Jeff Gravett, who both started in the same row last race. Row 7 has Bobby Swift and Martin Carrix Jr., hoping to break his own winless streak. Row 8 has Jamie McCarry and Brick Yardley, who's really good at getting surprise wins. Row 9 has Maury Clutchburn and Joey Logierno to his outside. Row 10 has Kevin Carvick and Carl Edwards, who almost won the 2008 Piston Cup. Row 11 has Juan Pablo Montoya and Phil Tankson, who had the fastest time in practice. Row 12 has David Raycar and Dave Laney, who will be retiring at the end of the season. Row 13 has AJ Carmeninger and Chick Hicks! Row 14 has Matt Karzeth and Ernie Gearson, once again starting in the same position. Row 15 has last week's winner Denny Carlin and Mark Carton to his outside. Row 16 has Rex Revler, who's won one race, and Jimmy Cables, who's hoping to get his first. Row 17 has Jack DePost and Brick Hicks to his outside. Row 18 is David Rudikar, who's won one race, and Chip Gearings, who has not won a race. Row 19 has Brad Karslowski and TG Castlenut to his outside. Row 20 is Elliot Draftler and Dino Draftski, neither of which qualified last week. Row 21 has Bobby Carboni and Brian Vickers to his outside. And starting in 43rd is Mike Yankee Jr., who's unfortunately back here. And these 12 cars, among many others, failed to qualify for this race. Now onto the race, where Tony Gasworth would lead for the first 15 laps before he'd lose the lead to Greg People, who'd lead until lap 28. But unfortunately, on lap 20, Dave Laney would be out because of fatigue. Ernie Gearson would take the lead on lap 28 and lead for 2 laps before Tony Gasworth would retake the lead, leading for 17 laps before Lightning McQueen would retake the lead from him, leading until lap 76, where Dale Earnhardt Jr. would take the lead from him, leading for 3 laps before Cal Weathers would take the lead for himself. But on lap 80, Tony Gasworth would be back in the lead, where he'd lead for 20 laps before Cal Weathers would retake the lead. But he'd only lead for 3 laps before Dale Earnhardt Jr. would retake the lead, leading until lap 116, where Jimmy Cables would take the lead from him. He'd lead for 2 laps before Lightning McQueen would retake the lead, leading all the way until lap 137, where Jeff Gravett would take the lead from him. He'd lead all the way until lap 165, where Juan Pablo Montoya would take the lead from him. He'd only lead for 2 laps before Chick Hicks would be 15th as of lap 167, where he wrecks Jack DePost, Maury Clutchburn, and Dino Draftski. Why? Craig Shiftright is now angry at Roger Pancake for picking Dino Draftski instead of Aiden Shiftright. Dale Earnhardt Jr. would take the lead after the restart, leading until lap 170, where Jimmy Cables would take the lead from him. He'd lead until lap 177, where the Mean Green Car Chick Hicks would take the lead. But on lap 179, Phil Tankson would say this and take the lead from the Mean Green Car, leading until lap 182, where Jeff Gravett would retake the lead. He'd lead for 11 laps before Chick Hicks would retake the lead. Way! And on lap 194, he's in the lead, but he still wrecks Mike Yankee Jr. Why? Phil Tankson also has a complaint. Yeah! Show the Mean Green Car not to wreck cars! And Lightning McQueen would take the lead on lap 197, but on lap 235, Tony Gasworth would take the lead from him, leading until lap 252, where Jeff Corvette would retake the lead, leading all the way until lap 284, where Bobby Swift would take the lead from him. He'd only lead for 3 laps before Kurt Busch would take the lead from him, leading for just 2 laps before Lightning McQueen would take the lead from him, leading until lap 289, where Jeff Corvette would retake the lead, leading until lap 311, where Dale Earnhardt Jr., his teammate, would lead for 2 laps, before Ernie Gearson would lead for half a lap, before he'd lose the lead to Jimmy Cables, who'd lead for another half lap, but he led over the start-finish line. Phil Tankson would lead for about 100 feet before Jeff Burton would take the lead from him. Jeff Burton would lead for 10 laps, but during his lead, Chuck Hicks would be 5th as of lap 319, where he wrecks who? Brian Vickers, David Rudikar, Clint Bokar, Rex Revler, Juan Pablo Montoya, Carl Edwards, Tony Gasworth, Jeff Corvette, Jamie McCarry, and Brick Yardley. Why? Denny Carlin would take the lead at the start of lap 324, but on lap 344, Lightning McQueen would take the lead, and he'd lead the final 6 laps to win the 2010 Texas 350, where Denny Carlin would finish 2nd, Kyle Busch Tire 3rd, Kurt Busch Tire 4th, and Mean Green Car Hicks surprisingly rounding out the top 5. And Phil Tankson is calling for the Mean Green Car to be disqualified. And here is the top 20 of the race, with Phil Tankson finishing 6th. Surprisingly, AJ Carmendinger made the top 20 this race. And here is the rest, with Chip Gearings being the last car to finish on the lead lap, with Joey Logirino just ahead of him. And unfortunately, Dave Laney finishes dead last in his first race of his final season. And here is the top 20 in points, where Lightning McQueen is ahead of Denny Carlin by 44 points.
Remember to press the notifications button, which goes ring, ring, ring after you press it. And lightning strikes back, and that's as if you subscribed, of course. And thank you for watching this entire video.
Since I'm going to be making 36 videos for the 2010 Piston Cup season, this is why this video came out this quick. I'm going to try to get the next race of the 2010 Piston Cup season out very soon, within the next week. And how does the Mean Green Car finish 5th in a race? How? And unfortunately, the 2022 Russian invasion of Ukraine is still going on as I speak into this microphone. We must continue to stand with Ukraine against the tyranny of Vladimir Putin. Everyone, including Ukrainians, deserve to live in peace and have freedom. Freedom from tyrannical dictators like Putin. Slava Ukraini! Heroyam Slava!